So do you see what is this? Yes, if you have watched my previous YouTube channel and the stories that I tell you, I taught you how to make beautiful bookmarks like this. Yes. But today there is something important that I'm going to tell you. Now, see what are the things you can see here. Can you find a story? Can you find some story here? No? But you can see a few characters. You know, SpongeBob SquarePants. I really love this character, and I think so. Your favorite character is this. Tan tan, Chota Bheem. I know. I'll tell you something about Chota Bheem, but have some patience. Wait. My favorite character, SpongeBob, and jellyfish. A street, a pineapple house, and a pink sun. Why sun can't be pink? Imagine. I know sun is hot yellow, but in stories when we are saying, we can put some imaginary things also. So I put a pink sun with yellow dots. Yes. So what happened? SpongeBob was at home and he was feeling very lonely. So he walked down the street in a hot pink sun, and wanted to play with some friends. So while he was walking, he found some jellyfish and he said, "Will you be my friend? We can play together." So the whole evening SpongeBob played with these jellyfish, and then later he got tired and he walked up the street and went and home and slept. Yes. So the major question comes here for children as well as for parents: how storytelling can benefit children. So I think so. I began with something: the SpongeBob street, the pineapple house. So you got words, jellyfish, and then we formed a story together. Yes. And how did we form? Through sentences using those words. SpongeBob was at home feeling very bored, vocabulary, and he came out down the street and he found jellyfish. He played and he went off to sleep. So we made a story here. Yes. So storytelling is an ancient and precious art that extends around the globe. Yes, different countries and places, you will find stories everywhere. There exist stories, storytellers, storybooks, and you cute little children. And children can develop their own storytelling style and talent and perform it on the stage, because storytelling is also performing art. So it's a great act of learning. Through stories you can learn so many things, different incidences. You learn so many things. Then how to survive, what are the decisions to be made, language, vocabulary, so many, a treasure of learning. Kids are curious, aren't parents, and in fact kids, we are always these very curious to learn new things, to listen to the stories. And you'll especially see in classroom or in fact at home, if they're kids, and whatever you want to say something important, they're not interested in listening. And when you say, "I'm going to tell you a story," pin drop silence. Now you don't have to give them instructions. Just don't roam around, don't scream, be quiet. They're quiet on their own. And with those glittering eyes, they were like, "Oh, story is going to be told." Yes. So what makes them curious and more concentrated towards learning? It's when they see the picture or given that visual and auditory pictoric narration which express making them feel that they are the character, they are in that place. Like if I say a child was in the chocolate land, or I'll say this: Bee went to a chocolate land and he found chocolates made grass made out of chocolate, a spring of chocolate. So the child is imagining Chota Bheem in his place, his himself on Chota Bheem's at Chota Bheem's place, and then he can imagine, oh, the fountain of chocolates like coming like this, and the grasses are made of chocolate. When you're eating, you can taste. So the different sensory organs also developing and enhancing the brain, the imagination, the expressing sense, concentration, language, words. They get lost in that world and their brain starts churning. And when once kids brain starts churning, they come up with these why questions, and there are 5 why questions. I'll let you know. And these 5 whys are why, why, who, what, when, and where. So these are 5 important things: why, who, what, and where. So who is it about? What happened? When did it take place? Where did it take place? Why did it happen? Who is this about? Who is this story about? It's about Chota Bheem. What happened? Chota Bheem had to fight a giant, an evil giant. So when did it take place? So it took place in the evening, in an in the past or in the future. According to your will, you can set up that time or place. Where did it take place? So where was it? In the mountain, in the sky, in the space, on the moon? Where? Why did it happen? So that evil wanted to destroy Bheem's land, and that's why Bheem had to come up to fight this evil and throw it out from its land. This gives a new version to their mind, thought process, their brain. And how? So they may also imagine on their own. Every child has their own way of imaginating, expressing. Either they may write, they may speak, and the way they speak, the way they are expressing and stressing different words, some may say, I want to see Chota Bheem in future. What will he do in the future if he's fighting that evil giant? Or what if he's in a Stone Age time? How is going to fight the evil giant and the dinosaurs together? So like that. Something major when I speak about art of storytelling, the performing art. This has been practiced since past and in history, and it has been through words, more vocal, our grandparents tell us about the story, our uncle and aunt telling us the stories, and in fact our parents telling us the stories. So how we get to know what happened in their family, or a particular story about a big banyan tree, something that happened in history, something that can happen in future. So what is happening here? The kid is like how visual it becomes. Still, I also remember some of the stories told by our grandmother, parents. When they say big banyan tree, we can imagine that big banyan tree laden with those green green leaves. About trees, if they tell us about fruits, we imagine the big tree, the trunk, the fruits, the big fruits we are eating, or birds are eating, squirrels are eating. But what is happening? Parents are generally not getting time now to tell the stories. We are being so busy, And like you can take Saturday or Sunday to illustrate or tell the stories, because when someone close to these kids tell these things, they are more inquisitive and feel more warm and connected to stories, to their parents, and they easily develop more concentration, and they love to learn. So they learn different subjects also through whatever stories you are telling. And if you don't get story, wherever you are working, just discuss, there's someone or the other will have a story to tell you. Come and narrate to your kids. Another form of storytelling is Nukkar Natak. It happened to be on streets, and people dressed in one or the other color, narrating in rhythmic or poetic form. So you want to listen more. What's the children want to listen? Ki, what is going to happen? Let me listen. What's the conclusion? Why are they speaking so loudly? What kind of thing is that? What happened to that person about whom they are telling? So that inquisitiveness, the words they are going to learn, the language that being spoken, the expression that they have on their face, the way they are speaking, and when they listen, they'll develop that confidence of speaking and expressing. Children are slow to grasp and slow to think. It takes some pace and time for them, so just be patient. Every child has their own pace and skill to learn and grasp, but be sure every child has some or the other skill that is going to take to that pillar of success. Storytelling is an activity that can transfer emotions and feelings, also boost thinking capacity. And how? Because children remember minute details, especially by auditory and visual effect, that is through listening and by seeing. When they see those picture books, like when you see cold wind, blue water, so they can imagine, they're getting that word. Cold wind was blowing. See the sentence and the structure, the words used. Now next what they learn is vocabulary. That is very important. So they learn new vocabulary because they are listening, they are reading, they're trying to concentrate and understand. To understand, you really need to understand that word and the sentence, what the sentence mean. And kids learn faster from the context of the story. Simple, because they are simple narration and words. Like if I speak about Birbal, so Birbal, Akbar had a land, an empire. So what's an empire? He was an emperor. What's an emperor? Who was Akbar? Akbar was real, so you get to know about history. Akbar, Birbal, and his intelligent tricks, or the way he used to solve the problems. They are learning those life skills. They are learning that there are so many problems. These problems that happened in Akbar's land was real, and it's like it is told us in the story form. We remember. So think how kids are going to implement in their whatever they are learning. The wit that Birbal used to solve each and every problem. So wit, logic, reasoning, vocabulary, language, how to express, being more vocal, concentration, brain development. There's so many things they are learning through stories, only through listening and reading stories. Uh, Through listening, obviously through listening, they're enhancing their listening skill. Children love to talk. Okay, so if a child is telling something to other child, the other child wants to listen. And this child, when will he talk? When he is listen to a story that has been narrated by someone. So the listening skill is helping in communication and or talking to each other. So that hindrance that is broken, and they start expressing. And till that time I'm saying language development. So how language development, stories are present everywhere. You just need to feel that. Like I can say in this room, see, I can say a story is in here. And how is it? I took a paperweight. So a child may think, may imagine, I had a paperweight, and the paperweight seemed so sad, and suddenly the weight started speaking that, you know, I'm very sad or I'm very happy, I'm with you, you're such a good boy. So in this way start developing stories. So we need to understand that story exists and revolves all around us. Schools, playground, trees, garden, road, among animals, birds. So only thing we need to understand how these stories exist in these places, and it will come only when we listen or when we read to these stories and are able to imagine as well as associate ourselves with those character and situation. Like I'll give you an example of Harry Potter. It's such a famous story, and the famous scene where the wall opens with with that magical stick and magical word. So what we start imagining, we take Harry Potter. We take ourselves in Harry Potter's place and we start imagining, oh, we are there, we are Harry Potter, the door is opening, we are going inside. So imagination skill is developing, and when you imagine, you're speaking to yourself. The door is opening, the wall is opening, I am speaking those magical words. So for those, when you are making a sentence, you need those words also to make. So when you read or you listen, you develop language, vocabulary, imagination, expression, and so many, a whole lot of things. So finally, let children communicate in any language they want. Don't hinder them. Gradually, when they express that, you can teach them in a language that they want to learn or they need to learn. And the language of storytelling also involves the skills, the three major skills: listening, recalling, and retelling. Yes, when you listen something, you start recalling. When you recall, there's so many things that goes into your this brain. And when you love something, you want to express. You want to tell your mother, father, grandparents, friends, everywhere. You call, I heard a story today. Do you want to listen? It's very interesting. And finally, helping in developing the four major pillars of language development, and those are listening and speaking, reading and writing. Yes, listening and speaking, reading and writing. So when these things are developed, you finally later stage, not only later stage, in your young age also, you start writing these. You want to become an author, or you want to become a researcher or something, whatever you love, and you start expressing yourself by listening and speaking, reading and writing, because these are the major treasure box of story, either in written or verbal form. Yes. So finally, I'll tell you, like if a child see these things, so he's going to the picturing thing. So when picture books, story books they see, they'll think, what are these? They'll try to discover these. This is brinjal, pumpkin, colors: orange, purple, green, yellow. And he may develop a story. Okay, there was a bag which had all the healthy things. Like every time if you'll say eat healthy, do healthy, children don't want to. And when they see here, and through stories, when these things come up, they will say, Arey mama, I heard that story, and they say if we eat this, we'll be healthy, we'll be fine, this will be cured. And another kind of learning comes, you become more practical. And you know, stories can help you learn science, maths, English, Hindi, any subject that you want, any subject, Spanish, German, any subject. And how science, there are stories where children may think going to a space and landing on the Milky Way. So what is Milky Way? Stars, solar system. What is solar system? The boy landed on the moon. So what is moon? Where is this moon? What is solar system? So do you understand? A normal story that you tell, they're learning science, calculation, logical, reasoning, intelligent, life skills. So I hope so the session was really helpful as how can children benefit from storytelling. I'll keep coming like this only, and in a week I'll put two videos. One would be on why performing studies, what is performing studies, why is it important, what is storytelling, how is it important for children, cognitive development, metacognition, motor skills, how through these stories children can develop, children's motor skill and cognition can develop. And another day I'll come with a story. Yes, so in this week, one with some information and another with stories and creative work as I keep coming. And for more creative work and stories, watch my channel, this YouTube channel, Colorful Story Mind. So now I take your leave. Keep learning and keep listening and keep coming to my channel. So like, subscribe and share. And next story that I'm coming is Rakhi Special. Yes, it's Rakhi Special. So everyone do watch the Rakhi Special story and creative Rakhi from whatever we find at home. So bye kids and parents.